My name is Lexi Jong. Here I like to talk about luxury beauty. Today we are talking about the Cle de Peau Garden of Splendor holiday collection for 2021. And I picked up quite a few of these pieces. I purchased my items from the Cle de Peau Beauté US website, and they have some items left in stock there. Others are out of stock, but they will be restocking throughout the season. So definitely keep an eye on that if there's something you're interested in. A lot of these items are also available at certain Nordstrom locations in store, but they have not reached the online site yet. And they are also coming to other retailers like Saks and I believe Neiman Marcus and everything as well. So they are coming. So one thing to note though is that some items, they're not going everywhere. So there are certain items that you might find at one store or one store location that you're not going to see at another location. I'm guessing it's a stock issue. So not every store, for the in-store locations at least, not every store will be getting the entire collection. They will be getting selected items from that. And you know, it's not like they're just going to get one or two items, but they are not going to get a few of everything. So just something to note, if there's something in particular you're looking for and you don't see it at one store, check another one and see if they have it. Again, the best resource is going to be the Cle de Peau website though. And yeah, they will be restocking throughout the season. So in the holiday collection, there are quite a few things. They do have a couple of skincare items that have special packaging. I did not pick those up. There is a mini lipstick set. You know, this comes out like every year. They have another little mini set. So this retails for $98 for 5 lipsticks. They're 2 grams each. And they have a 2-year shelf life. So it's, you know, it's not a bad deal if you're looking at trying those out. Then there are 2 luminizers that came out, and I really like the packaging on the luminizers. So it's got the same, you know, beveled packaging that you have on other Cle de Peau items. You've got kind of this soft light gold here. And then inside, I actually removed mine, but it does come with like a hard piece of plastic that they want you to put in there and keep in there. So this little bit here is meant to kind of go, that goes in the hinge here. So it just clips in there and keep that closed. So you keep the mirror clean and your product protected and all of that. And then it also comes with a little brush. So it's just a little synthetic brush. You can see it's got a really light pink handle, very cute. So there are 2 luminizers and I picked up both of them. So this one here is number 103. Wonderful Radiance. And this is going to be your cooler tone option. The warmer tone option here is 102, Aglow with Wonder. And this is the one that's a little bit harder to find. So if you're looking for this one, pay attention when you see it. If you want it, pick it up because it's going quickly when it does pop up. So this is the 102, Aglow with Wonder. And then there are 2 cream blushes, which of course I had to pick those up because the Cle de Peau cream blushes are my favorite formula. So we have 2 different shades. We have 201 Warmth's Magic, which is a peachier shade. And then we also have 202 Joyful in Pink. So this one is going to be your cooler tone, pinker version. There are 2 eyeshadow duos that I did not pick up, but I do have a get ready with me with a look inspired by the blue version of those. So both of those, there's a purple and pink duo, and then the other one's like a peachier pink and a blue duo. So I passed on those. And then there are these lipstick shine lipsticks, which come in this beautiful packaging here. You can see it's going to be 2-sided. There are technically 4 shades in the collection, but only 3 have come to the US. I don't know if the 4th shade is going to come or not. I've talked to Cle de Peau customer service a couple times, but nobody seems to know, you know, anything about it at all. So there are 3 shades currently available. There's a pretty like orange shade. There's like a brighter pink. And then this is going to be the softer pink. This one here is 517 Rose Pink Perfection. So let's go ahead and start off with some swatches. And then I do have some demos just to show you the application of these items, and we'll go over those after we do swatches. All right, so let's start off with the cream blushes. So this one here is 201 Warmth's Magic, and this is what it looks like. And when you blend it out, it's actually the one I have on my right side right now. So you can see that it is going to be a warmer tone. It's like peach with a touch of red in it. So there's a little bit of like a brick red mixed into the peach. And that's what I think makes it a little bit unique. And then we have 202 Joyful in Pink. And this one is going to be, you know, cooler in tone, more bubblegummy pink. I think both of them are gorgeous, and you can definitely see when they're side by side a little bit more of that like reddish hue in the Warmth's Magic when they're next to each other. And you can see here that this is definitely going to be cooler in tone. So the cream blushes retail for $60 US, and they have a 2-year lifespan once opening. I have to say I've had my favorite shade, number 4, Perfect Peach, for over 2 years now, and it still hasn't gone bad. So just something to note. They do last well, and yeah, we'll talk more about the performance in a little bit. So then let's move on. Oh, actually, let's go numerically. So let's start here with 102, Aglow with Wonder. And you can see I just smeared my finger all over it, but yeah, I'm gonna leave a little space for some swatches there. And let me just add a little bit more of this here so you can kind of get an idea. So you can see that it's like a peachy golden shade. You can see that there is like this reddish burgundy shade kind of mixed in there. That's really just providing a little bit of warmth. But overall, it's really like peach with a touch of gold, in my opinion. And that gold is not going to be a bright yellow gold. It's really soft, more of like a burnished gold. And everything is very, very subtle. So let's look at 103, Wonderful Radiance. And you can see in comparison that this one is much icier and cooler in tone. Let's get another swatch here. Look at that when you put that on. So you can see the difference between those. All right, so then we have the Lipstick Shine, which is one of those balm style lipsticks. I'm gonna put this one right down here at the bottom of my hand here so you can kind of see. We'll put the lipstick set above that. But this one here is 517, which is Rose Pink Perfection. Again, it has a 2-year shelf life as well. And so do the Luminizers, by the way. So looking at the minis, these are mini lipsticks. They're 2 grams each. They come in plastic packaging. You have the gold logo on the top. And this year we have all of these little animals. So there are 2 of the cashmere matte formula and 3 of the what they call semi-matte, but it's more of a satin. So we have 103 Legend of Rouge. This is one of the matte shades here. And you can see it skipped, but that's because look at the way that the lipstick is beveled. So it curves. So it's a little bit harder to get a flat swatch without going over it. I want to show you what one single layer looks like. And then we have 118 Relentless Rose, which is another matte shade. You can see this is going to be a bright fuchsia pink, but there's like a bit of a purpley hue in there. And the red, on the other hand, is kind of like more of that like tomato red. There's a touch of pink in it and a touch of orange in it. So, yeah. Then the other 3 are going to be satin formulas. So this is 15 of Fit Flare for Fuchsia, which is really much more of that like Barbie pink. Actually, wearing it with the blue eyeshadow duo just really made me think of the 80s. You know? So There's that. And then we have number 5, Camellia. And this one's an interesting shade. Okay, so it's like a warm based coral, actually. So there's a little bit of brown in there. There's a little bit of brick. There's some pink. There's some orange. It's very pretty. I like this shade. And then we have 22 Beguiling Brick, which this is going to be more of your brown with a touch of red. And all of these, again, have a 2-year shelf life once opening as well. So just so you can see the animals again, we've got a lamb, a squirrel, a bird, a rabbit, and then we have a fox. So these are the mini lipstick sets. So now I'm going to go ahead and share with you the demos of the application so you can see these. And then we'll leave the lipstick swatches for while I am talking about formulas. So we'll do the cheek demos right now. All right, so we are going to be using the cream blushes, one on each side. And to keep it as, even or equal as possible, I'm going to use the Synergy mini base brushes. So these are a mix of undyed goat hair and synthetic fibers. So I have the mini base from the Kiyaki set and the one from the Fusion set, but the actual bristles and everything on the top are the same. So we're going to start off with Warmth's Magic. So this is the peachier shade. You can see just rubbing it over the product, you're going to get quite a bunch. So I'm just going to tap that on my lap. Just get a little bit of that off. And I keep a cloth on my lap, so I'm not putting it on my lips. You can see how much product comes up. Let me actually wipe off the brush here. Okay, so I wiped off the brush and we're just gonna kind of circle this in. So that's Warmth's Magic. Now for my left side, we are going in with Joyful Pink, or Joyful in Pink. And we're gonna do the same thing, just knocked a little bit off on my lap. And just gonna wipe off the rest on the brush. All right, so here they are. So Warmth's Magic is peachier, warmer in tone, and Joyful in Pink is going to be cooler and pinker. Let me show you from a distance. Warmth's Magic, Joyful in Pink. We're gonna add another layer just so you can really see the color. Okay, so I just got a little bit more of Warmth's Magic. Again, wiping off that brush there. You can do this with fingers, and actually I have a Get Ready With Me that I will be sharing soon that shows the finger versus the brush application for Warmth's Magic. So check that out if you're interested. So this is a second layer of Warmth's Magic. Right, and here is Joyful in Pink. Just wipe off that brush. There we go. Warmth's Magic, Joyful in Pink. And I also picked up both of the Luminizers. And in the Get Ready With Me, I also picked up both Luminizers, and I'm just holding this because it's very reflective. But in the Get Ready With Me that I mentioned, I show you this one in pristine condition with the overspray on top. There is a glittery, sparkly overspray on top. I removed that. So this is what you'll actually be receiving, like what you'll actually get on your cheeks. So this one is 102, and this is called A Glow with Wonder. So we're gonna put this on the side with Warmth's Magic. I'm going to use I think this is the Z5 from Chikuhodo. It's the Z series highlight brush. So I twirled it in there. You can see how much product comes up. I'm actually gonna knock a lot of that off the back of my hand. And let's just put that on. So you can see you get a very soft illumination here, and you can build this up. We'll add a little bit more here, just so you can really see the color of the highlight. But you can see how it's subtle, and it's a little bit of like a peachy gold, but it's not very yellow. So, you know, it adds warmth without adding yellowishness, if that makes sense. So it's really beautiful, very subtle. Now on the other side, we're going to use the Wonderful Radiance number 103. And we're going to do the same thing here. So same brush, I just wiped it off really well. Whack it on my finger for a minute. And you can see that this one, right off the bat, you can see it's cooler in tone. You've got more of that icy look, more snowy. So again, we've got 102 versus 103. I'll just add a little bit more just so you can see the difference. You build that up. And let me show you from a distance. All right, so here is number 103, Aglow with Wonder. And you can see that although it's a little bit golden, it's really incredibly subtle gold. It really just adds some warmth to the skin versus anything else. And it's very subtle. So very subtle and sophisticated. And on this side, we have 103, Wonderful Radiance. And this one is going to be icier, cooler in tone. Again, it can be very subtle. You can see how beautiful it is on the skin. Completely, you know, just two different looks, but I think both of them work for my skin tone. I was a little worried originally looking at the photos of number 102 that it would be like too dark, but it really doesn't translate that way. These really end up being very light and subtle. You can build them up to a point, but they're never going to be in your face blingy highlight. All right, so before we go over my thoughts, let's go over some comparisons. I just have a few things I'd like to compare with these. So this is one of the Cle de Peau cream blushes in the permanent line. This is number 4, Perfect Peach. Just gonna put this one right at the top. It doesn't really go, but I just thought it might be helpful for comparison. So you can see that Perfect Peach is much more nude. All right, and this one here is number 2 from the permanent line. And you can see it's also going to be like a light pink shade, but it's warmer in tone. Joyful in Pink is cooler. So this one's number 2, this one's number 4. We've got Warmth Magic, which is 201, and 202, Joyful in Pink. And for cream blushes, the ones I had that were closest, this is the Westman Atelier Petal. You can see that this is going to be much more nude. Look at that. And then we have the Pale Petal from Makeup by Mario. And you can see that that one is going to be the closest from Makeup by Mario, but it's actually going to be closer to Cle de Peau number 2. And you can see that there's a little bit more, like a touch more like red in it compared to the Cle de Peau. And then this is the Makeup by Mario in Soft Coral, which is not going to be as red or pigmented as the Cle de Peau. Okay, but that's the closest one that I have. So one more time for comparison's sakes, we've got Cle de Peau Cream Blush in shade number 4, Cle de Peau Holiday Cream Blush in 201, Makeup by Mario Cream Blush in Soft Coral, Cle de Peau Holiday Cream Blush in 202, Joyful in Pink, Makeup by Mario Cream Blush in Pale Petal, Cle de Peau Cream Blush from the permanent line in shade 2, and Westman Atelier in Petal. Now for highlighters, I actually don't have a ton of highlighters, but I did want to show you. This is the Luminizer from last year's holiday collection. And this one is 101 Moon Shimmer. And you can see that it looks like it might be kind of similar to the lighter one here, but look at this difference here. Let me show you. So I hope you can see the difference, but there's like a blue reflect in the one from last year's holiday collection, whereas this year is much more of that snowy white. Let me show you the two of these side by side here, so you can see those. So you can see the difference in the colors that are included here. We have, you know, obviously purple included in the one from last year, and the gold there is actually going to be a little bit more pronounced in last year's versus this one here, which is a little bit lighter overall. And, you know, it does not have the purple. It has like a light pink instead. And this shade is actually more of like a champagne shade, whereas this one, it's not really, it's like a golden pink. Now, color-wise, I don't have too many like these, but for subtlety, this is the Givenchy Teint Couture Shimmer Powder in 01 Shimmery Pink. We'll just put that one right here. Okay. It's going to be, it's a little bit more luminous than the Cle de Peau. And then we have the Chanel Metal Peach. And this swatches lighter than it actually goes on with a brush. But this was what I had that, you know, was kind of closest to the Aglow with Wonder. But you can see the difference. There's definitely a little bit more like reddish pink in there versus like this peachy gold in the Chanel. And then this is the Surratt Artistique Cheek shade, which, you know, could be a blush or a highlight, but this is Oreo. We're gonna put that one right here. You can see it's gonna be a little bit more golden. Okay. So one more time, we have the Cle de Peau Holiday Luminizer 102, Aglow with Wonder. The Cle de Peau Holiday Luminizer 103, Wonderful Radiance. This is Holiday from last year, 101 Moon Shimmer. And this is Surratt Oreo. This is Givenchy Teint Couture in Shimmery Pink. And Chanel in Metal Peach. So I hope those comparisons were helpful. If there are any lipstick comparisons or anything, please let me know. I will include those in a separate video. But now we are going to discuss the formulas of these things while I show you the lip swatches for all of these lip products. So while we are looking at lip swatches, let's start off with the Lipstick Shine. So this is going to be one of those thin, balmier lipsticks. It is actually, the formula, this is my first time using it, but for me, the formula is most reminiscent of the Chantecaille lip veils. It's not quite as thick and balmy as a Lip Chic. It's thinner on the lips than that. It definitely has the pigment, and it's moisturizing and comfortable on the lips. So I do really like this formula, and I wouldn't hesitate to pick up more of those, provided that there are colors that I'm interested in. So I really like it. It's not going to be a long wearing lipstick, you know, because it is thinner, balmy, moisturizing, you know, it's a little bit glossier. It has like an average wear time, you know, you're looking 2 to 4 hours. You're going to want to reapply. But I find it very nice, very comfortable, very easy to use. And, you know, it's something that you can easily take with you and apply without a mirror. And, you know, it's just a really nice formula. Now the case, as we can see, is this gorgeous case for the holidays, and it's not magnetic, and yet it doesn't actually click in. It does, it tightens, like it's like a snug, tight fit once you push it all the way down, but there's no actual like little crevice to make a clicking sound, and there's also no magnetization on that. So just something to note on that. The lid does not seem to get loose easily though. Moving on to the mini lipstick collection. And I think it's a really great way to try lipsticks from Cle de Peau. This was my first time trying Cle de Peau lipsticks. I've tried their lip glosses, which I really like. And these lipsticks are really nice. So I like them. They're not my favorite formulas, and they are going to be reformulated next year. So I really wanted to be able to have a basis of comparison. But for me, you know, I would have to say that these matte shades, they're not really what I would expect from a matte shade. They're really more of a demi satin. They don't go like, they're not a powder matte. They don't feel dry on your lips or anything like that. You know, they do dry down, and then, you know, they can be a little bit drying if you wear it repeatedly, but it's not going to be that powdery dry feeling, if you know what I mean. It's really more of a regular or traditional lipstick formula, and once it wears down and you just have that stain, that can feel a little bit drying on the lips, if that makes sense. But the actual sheen of these is not completely matte. It's actually more, not quite satin. It's kind of like that demi satin, satin matte type thing. So, you know, you can see in the lipstick swatches that they really just don't completely go matte. And even after like several hours, they still have a little bit of a sheen to them. The satins are a lot more, they're a little bit glossier. They're not going to be as thin of a formula or as glossy and shiny as the Lipstick Shine formula, but they're very comfortable on the lips. They're a traditional satin formula. I do like the way all of these lipsticks have a beveled bullet, which allows application to be very nice. I think on a full-size bullet, it would be a little bit easier than with the minis, because the beveling with the minis can make it, you know, there's just a little more ground to cover, and then it doesn't hug your lips exactly the same way as a full-size would. So I do like it, and I think that's going to be something nice to have. Now, in terms of sheen and shine, these satins, you know, they do have a sheen or a shine to them. It's still going to be less intense of a shine than the Lipstick Shine formula or a gloss, but they're definitely sheeny. So just something to know. I find them to be comfortable on the lips. I had no issues of feeling like dryness or anything on my lips with this formula. And yeah, you know, if you are interested in the colors, I think this is a great way to try them out. And if you're somebody like me and you love lipstick and you want to have a lot of them, but you know, it's harder to use them up, then I think minis are a great way to go. Moving on to the cream blushes. The Cle de Peau cream blush formula is my #1 cream blush formula because it goes on easily. It looks nice regardless of what application method you use, either fingers, brush, sponge, whatever. You can get a flawless, natural looking application with these. They don't feel sticky or tacky. And on my skin, they last all day. I don't have to set these with powder. I didn't even set my foundation with powder. You know, they last on their own. So you can build these up and get them more pigmented, but they are intended for a natural look. So they blend out very easily. And I just think they're really easy to work with. So yeah, they're a must-have for me. And for these colors, I think it's really going to depend on what kinds of tones you like. The Warmth Magic is definitely warmer. It's almost a coral, but there's, again, a little bit of this like brick vibe to it, in my opinion. And I think it's gorgeous for the fall. The Joyful in Pink is a much more common shade, I feel like. You know, it's that bright, kind of like a Barbie pink or a Papa pink, bubblegum pink. So you've got that. I think it's a little bit cooler in tone than, you know, the offerings they have in the permanent line, but it is a shade of blush that I think is a little bit more common and easy to find, yet it looks great. So I'm very happy to have both of them. They are must-haves for me from this collection, and I really love those. As for the Luminizers, I love both of these Luminizers, and I love them both for different reasons. I think number 102, A Glow with Wonder, the one that's a little bit warmer in tone, that is fantastic for every day because it's really subtle, and I guess those like beigey, champagne-y, golden tones to it really kind of blend into the skin more. Whereas 103, Wonderful Radiance, has more of that icy, snowy look, which is also works really well for cooler tone looks. You can definitely use it every day, but it's also, you know, it reminds me of snowy days. So I think both of them fit in my collection very well. And I think depending on what kinds of tones you're looking for, that's going to determine which one of these you may be interested in. If you have the one from last year, it is definitely bluer on the skin than this year's for the 103. So it depends. You know, if you picked 101 up last year and let's say you loved it, but it was a little bit too blue, 103 is a good alternative to it. However, you know, they are still, you know, relatively close. So if you have 101, you may not want to pick up 103. That makes sense. So unfortunately, I don't have any of the luminizers from the permanent line to compare these to, but I know that these are unique shades and they are not going to be completely identical to anything in the permanent line. So just something to note there. All right, so I hope all of that was helpful. And I have to say that this collection, I haven't been like, I wasn't as drawn to this collection as I was last year's with the packaging. Last year, the packaging was just, it was absolutely stunning. You know, you had these like angel wings with like light and dark and so forth. It was really beautiful. This year's, it reminded me of Secret Garden. You know, you've got this like key and everything on here. You've got the animals and the flowers. It just doesn't seem holiday to me. And yeah, so the packaging this year, there are pieces from it that I like, but overall, I'm not a fan of the packaging. The cream blushes, I don't really like this cap. I actually prefer the permanent cap. I think it's more chic than this. You've got these two little like lovebirds on the cap here, but it's just a little bit, you know, I don't know. I personally don't love it. It is a plastic cap, by the way. However, I do like the Luminizer packaging. So I think this one's pretty. And it still doesn't scream holiday to me, but I do really like that one. It really looks more like a springtime collection to me. And I also like the packaging on this, you know, so overall I'd have to say the packaging's, it's okay. It's just not really holiday to me. And, you know, it's a little bit more cutesy than luxe for some of the pieces like the cream blush and the mini lipsticks. The mini lipsticks, you know, they're cutesy with the animals on them. But again, because they are a plastic container, it's more cutesy than luxe. But, you know, it's personal preference. I still like everything. I'm happy with everything I picked up from this collection. If I were to narrow it down to my very favorite items, it would be the cream blushes. I personally really like both of them. But if I had to pick one, it's actually the Joyful in Pink for my complexion, just because it works a little bit, it looks a little bit better on me, I think. But I have to say that the other one is more unique. So, you know, it's kind of a toss up there. Luminizers, I really like both of them, but my favorite's actually the 102, A Glow with Wonder, the one that is a little bit warmer in tone here. So really like that. Lipstick wise, I really like all of the lipsticks. I think it's a great way to try them. But formula wise, my favorite is the Lipstick Shine, and the pink shade that I picked up, I think is nice. It's not quite as Barbie pink as the one in the mini set, and partly because it's a thinner formula as well. It goes on a little bit more sheerly, so it's still different. And I think it's a great, like, everyday comfortable pink to wear, and it's not too, yeah, it's not too much of that like 80s bubblegum pink in my opinion. So overall, I think it's a really nice collection. It will be restocking on Cle de Peau's website, and it will be coming to online retailers soon. So definitely keep your eyes open if there's something you're interested in. The Cle de Peau holiday items, some of those items go really fast every year. So try to decide what you want before you see them available so that you don't miss out on something that you really, really want to have. So I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this or found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you very soon. So have a great day and stay safe and healthy.